This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Most people think English is extremely hard to learn, and so did I. It wasn't until I tried learning other languages with much more complex grammar like gender rules, verb conjugations, did I realize and appreciate how straightforward English is. So in this video, I'm going to share 4 reasons why English is actually much easier than you think. They will completely change your perspective to learning it. First, one of the biggest advantages you already have but don't realize is that English is everywhere. If I want to talk with a person from Japan, I'm going to use English because I don't speak Japanese and they most likely don't speak my native language, Russian. And honestly, guys, even without leaving your country, you can get exposed to English. It is one of the biggest misconceptions that you will only be able to learn English if you go to an English-speaking country. And once you're there, for example, let's say you move to the USA. Once you're there, you will start speaking English perfectly. It doesn't really work that way. English is the most widely spoken language, aka it's spoken in most countries. And even without leaving your home, you will hear English. Whether you're in France, Germany, Mexico, you're likely to hear English on the radio. Try English products or watch English media. And guys, it's not true for all languages. Let's say I'm trying to learn German in Mexico. It's going to be so much harder for me to immerse myself in this language living in Mexico. But if I was learning English in Mexico, it is so much easier because it's just more widely used. And this is something that makes English one of the easiest languages to integrate into your daily life, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country. First of all, it's so easy to find English media for free. YouTube, the internet, and it is not true for all the languages. If I go to Google and type how to learn English, I'm gonna get way more search results than if I was searching for Greek learning resources. Also, some of the most popular books, movies, and songs are all in English. And people know about all of these things, products all over the world. Plus, over 50% of the internet is in English. And competition in general drives value. There are a lot of articles about English learning resources, and the authors of those articles are competing for attention. And so that's why some of them are trying to make their articles as valuable as possible, because those authors know that there are a lot of resources about English learning out there. So to stand out, they're always improving their quality. They're always improving the quality of their articles. A big thing that a lot of us take for granted is that there are a lot of amazing English learning resources, because English is one of the most popular languages to learn online. So people are always searching for videos, for tips, for things to learn and improve. And I think language learners only really start appreciating this fact when they start learning a less common language. I remember around a year ago, I was doing this challenge where I was trying to learn Greek in 24 hours just for fun, obviously, because it's not really possible to learn a language in 24 hours. But when I was doing this challenge and I was trying to look for Greek resources, some videos on YouTube, I realized that compared to English, there aren't a lot of good quality Greek resources. And the ones that are available are not always good quality, are not always free, and are not always entertaining. So yes, English is one of the easiest languages to get started with. Its alphabet is short and you only need a few thousand words to handle everyday conversations. But here's the thing, as you grow more confident in English, you might want to start expressing your skills and your passions in new ways. Whether it's through starting a blog, showcasing your talents, or even launching a side hustle. That's where today's sponsor, Squarespace, comes in. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build your online presence. Whether you're starting a blog, showcasing your portfolio, or even selling products. One of the things I love about Squarespace is how incredibly easy it is to use, even if you're not tech savvy. You don't need to be a coding expert to have a professional website up and running in no time. Let me show you how I've been using it to create my own website. The first feature that I love is their design intelligence. This feature takes their 2 decades of design experience and integrates it with cutting-edge AI to help you create a unique, visually stunning website without the hassle. It adapts to your preferences, ensuring that your site looks both personalized and professional. The second feature is equity scheduling. This integrated tool helps you offer consultations and services, which makes it super easy to manage appointments and even accept payments, all from your website. And finally, let's talk about their email campaigns. Squarespace offers tools for running email campaigns to keep your subscribers engaged engage and drive more traffic to your content. If you're ready to take your passion project to the next level, head to squarespace.com/Veronika to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the code Veronika for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, now let's move on to the second reason why learning English is easy actually. English has one of the shortest alphabets. Its alphabet is only 26 letters, which makes it one of the least complicated and one of the shortest alphabets in the world. And again, most people start appreciating this fact after they start learning a language with a huge and complicated alphabet, or without any alphabet at all, like Chinese, which actually makes it really hard. For example, my native language Russian has 33 letters in its alphabet. And every single time I meet a foreigner and they're trying to learn Russian, if their native language is English, they always tell me, oh my god, there are so many letters. A lot of the letters are so similar, like the sounds they produce. And they struggle with it so much because they're so used to having just 26 letters in English. They're like, oh my god, I have to learn 4 + 3, 7 additional letters. And some of these 7 letters sound very similar. And so compared to most European and Asian languages, the English alphabet is much easier to learn. And that gives you a big advantage. You can learn the alphabet much faster. And also once you start making progress, you start learning the alphabet, you feel accomplished because it happens way faster. You don't have to spend a lot of your time. You feel great. You learn the alphabet. Woohoo! You can honestly learn the English alphabet in a few days because there are also a lot of videos on YouTube for kids how to memorize the alphabet fast. And that is just not true for a lot of other languages. And plus, lots of English speakers understand broken English much better than other languages. I remember when I was learning Chinese in college and I had to learn all the tones of this language, I would start speaking Chinese to a Chinese speaker, a native Chinese speaker, and they would be like, what? Like I was speaking my broken Chinese, and because I wasn't very good at tones yet, they couldn't really understand me. According to research, you only need to know 2,000 to 3,000 words to handle everyday conversations. And the most common of 3,000 words account for 80% of the English language. Okay, now let's move on to the third reason why learning English is easy. English grammar is simpler. First of all, English doesn't have gender rules. English is gender neutral, so you don't need to learn all of these feminine, masculine, neuter forms of words. Depending on the language, they're all called different things, either neuter or neutral, but basically, you don't need to memorize any of that. And that is unlike 50% of languages that do require you to learn gender. For example, in French, cat can be either le chat or la chatte. I don't really speak French, so pardon my accent. And in English, this word is just cat. And obviously in all of these other languages, understanding gender is a huge part of the learning process. And that is something that usually takes a lot of time, and language learners usually make a lot of mistakes when it comes to gender rules. You have to, cram all of these rules, memorize all of this. And English is much simpler here. Also, English doesn't have any tricky verb conjugations. Verbs in English don't really change much depending on who is doing the action. For example, the verb to eat is going to be the same for I eat, we eat, they eat. Unlike in Spanish, the word comer is going to change a lot. Como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, common. English is also not a tonal language, so you don't have to change the pitch of your voice to change the meaning of a word, like in Chinese, for example, where if you say a word using the wrong tone, it might mean something completely different. Like this word might actually exist and it might mean something totally strange. In English, you can also use the for everything. Singular, plural, masculine, feminine. Unlike other languages that have gender-based articles, like in German, in French, la, lo. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but English sentence structure is pretty straightforward. It follows a super simple and mostly fixed rule, like subject, verb, object. Done. And obviously that is so easy to understand even for beginners. And finally, English doesn't have any formal or informal distinctions. Honestly, everyone who is trying to learn my native language Russian is always struggling with the or вы, which is like you informal and you formal, kind of like tú and usted in Spanish. Because in English, you can say you to anyone, a stranger, a friend, your grandma, your teacher, anyone. And in a lot of other languages, you have to change the way you speak, meaning the grammar you use depending on who you're talking to. And obviously that adds a lot of headache because you're trying to make sure that you're not using wrong grammar with the wrong person. Okay, and the final reason why learning English is easy is because you already know a lot of English words. Because English has borrowed a lot of words from European languages. About 60% of all English vocab comes from French and Latin. And obviously over the years, because English is the international language, it has had a lot of impact on the international vocabulary. Because a lot of languages have loaned words from English. A few days ago, I was having my Spanish class and my teacher and I were talking about this expression in English, vision board. And I asked her, oh, how do you say vision board in Spanish? And she started thinking, and she was thinking a lot about it because she was like, I would just say vision board because it sounds a lot more natural to me. She's young, she's from Mexico City, and she said that she would use the English phrase instead of the Spanish expression. Because in Spanish, I found something in the dictionary. It was something like la mapa de sueños, like your map of dreams. But because this word has become so popular because of social media, obviously among young people, a lot of young people in Mexico are now using the expression vision board instead of la mapa de sueños. So guys, I think it's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure to check out Squarespace by clicking my link in the description and use my code Veronika for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. If you want to learn how to create a monthly language learning plan and get access to my Notion template, click right here and watch this video.